And boom, we're live on my end.
Oh, live.
All
All right,
right,
let's do
good
this.
deal. All
Cool
right, so
beans.
let's go with the let's take a look at the previous games that just happened.
We're not going to introduce ourselves. I'm Austin and he's
Dude,
Austin.
yeah, we got
The
no
people
credentials.
pe- people know
Next.
us by now.
All right, Austin, no credentials.
All right, let's do it.
All
Start
right,
with NBA.
yep, so Bucks won. Um,
Yes.
Celtics are done
All right.
forever. The way we see them done ain't
You
gonna
think so?
happen. Yeah. Um. So that's good. The Bucks dominated the entire series, and I think for most of the series. And then Kyrie, though, I mean, he just wasn't playing like himself. I don't know what
He
that
wasn't.
is. He was in a slump. It was horrible.
Yeah. So, yeah, here's my take. I think you're right about the Celtics and the way they're made. I think there's going to be some big changes to the Celtics this offseason. I think they're going to try to trade for Anthony Davis. They're probably going to trade Jason Tatum and maybe Jalen Brown, a couple other pieces for Anthony Davis. Who knows Al Horford's future there, and then Kyrie's future is the one big question. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, I think the Celtics are done as we see them now. I think they'll still be a pretty good team just because Brad Stevens is a great coach. But I think this series showed me something that Kyrie just wanted to play his own way, and he didn't want to buy into what Brad Stevens has to say. And what I've heard around the league, what I've heard from analysts is that they're saying that Brad Stevens isn't a confrontational guy, so he couldn't confront Kyrie and say, "Hey, listen, this is not the way we're going to play. We're not going to play ISO ball and dribble the ball 20 times and put up a bad shot. They're going to try to play team basketball." But Brad Stevens couldn't tell Kyrie that. So the big question right now is, can Brad Stevens coach a superstar like Kyrie Irving? Um, and I think that's a fair question to ask because you see them last year where they had a bunch of role players, and even though the East was a lot worse last year, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and took the Cavs to 7 games. So I think you have to ask yourself, can this guy coach a superstar? Um, and who knows? We'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
Tough. I don't know with Kyrie. I don't know. It's tough.
yeah. So Kyrie, and let's get into Kyrie a little bit because I think that's the big storyline out of this game is Kyrie Irving's future and
Yeah.
also, kind of what happened with him. So of course we talked about this a little bit on the last podcast. Kyrie left Cleveland because he wanted to be the number one on a team. He wanted to be he wanted to be the team leader. He wanted to be a number one. And there's a big difference between a number one and a number two in the NBA. The number one takes on all the media. It's the team leader, the best player. Thing about Kyrie Irving is his personality is the kind of personality that doesn't like to deal with media. He doesn't want to deal with all the responsibilities of being a number one. And that showed so much this year. His leadership was in question all year. And, I don't think his play justifies his bad leadership. So, in my opinion, I think he's a number two on a title contender.
Yeah, I see that number two for sure. Yeah, his I don't know to deal with his media stuff. I mean, but yeah, he just doesn't seem like he's the number one guy. I think that proved it. And I don't know if that'll affect other teams looking for him if they'll want him as a number two guy, and he still wants to be that number one guy. So I think there might be some teams that's interested in him, but then he's just gonna say like no, like
No,
pass, just
because,
because
yeah,
he's like their second guy. But
maybe.
we'll see that coming up though. But I think that'll probably happen. Um, they had predictions of him going to the Knicks, the Nets, and the Lakers, and I think there might have been one other person, or one other team, but I don't know who he'll go to.
So it kind of depends because I think you bring up a good point. It depends on what Kyrie wants. Does Kyrie still want to be a number one? Does he still want to be the number one option on a team? Does he still want to be a leader of a team? If so, then I think the Nets are a good option because the Nets don't have a superstar right now or a star in general. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's pretty good, but I don't think you call him a star. So they don't have a star right now. So the Nets would be a good option if you still want to be the guy. But the thing is, him being the guy means he's going to have zero more championships. He's not going to win another chip just being the guy. So if he goes to the Lakers, where LeBron obviously is, and we're going to talk about the Lakers a lot more later on in the podcast. But if he goes to LeBron, they obviously worked in Cleveland. They have a championship together. I actually wouldn't mind to see them get back together and see what they can do in LA. I think it would take one more guy to really make a push for a title. Maybe Anthony
Yeah.
Davis and next summer, or maybe even Kawhi Leonard this summer if they have room for two max players, which I don't know if they do or not. But yeah, man, I think the Lakers. I want to see him go to the Lakers just because I think that would be where he would flourish the most with LeBron. But it'd also be interesting if he went to the Knicks with Kevin Durant. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin Durant will go to the Knicks or not, but still, I don't know. I think him and Kevin Durant, I think that would be a good 1-2 team right there. But
Yeah,
I don't know. And then the thing with the Lakers, I don't know if he would go there just because LeBron's there. Like, yeah, he can go there because LeBron's there, or he don't want to go there because
because
LeBron's there.
LeBron's.
So
Yeah, it depends on what Kyrie wants, man. It depends on what he wants.
I don't know.
All right, what's next up?
All
So,
right, we can.
real quick, I would like to say, if I had to predict right now, I think he's going to the Knicks. That's my prediction right now. What would you say?
I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know. I
Ah,
don't think
come
it.
on! You got to make a
I
prediction for
well,
the people, man.
I don't think it's the Knicks.
You don't think it's
I
the
don't.
Knicks?
I don't
Wow.
think it's the Knicks. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I don't think it's gonna be the Knicks.
Okay, that's a prediction. You say it's not going to be the Knicks, so. Oh yeah, before we go on, I'd like to say to the next game. Do you think the Bucks, now that Kevin Durant's hurt, if the Rockets win or maybe the injured Warriors team wins, do you think the Bucks have a chance to come out of the East and actually win the championship this year? Whoever comes out of the West, beat them.
I don't think so. I don't think they have what it takes with the talent on the other side. I don't think so. Like
You know, so
they'd get some wins, but it'd be tough. It'd be nice to see if they could get it, but
yeah,
I just don't think they have enough. They're still a young team, and I mean I think if everything was the same as if everything stayed the same for the next 2 years, then they could probably be right back up there, and they might get it one of those years. But I don't know if it's this year or not.
yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be this year. No matter who comes out of the West, I think they're going to win. But to your point about the next couple of years, the problem with it is that Milwaukee's not necessarily a free agent destination. But if they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
able to get more shooters, maybe some good defenders, I think they could make a push because I think in the next couple of years we're going to see the NBA kind of disperse a little bit, and it's going to be the talent's going to be more spread out rather
yeah,
than before where it was all stacked on a couple of teams. I think we're going to spread it out a little bit more and have a bit more competition, hopefully.
yeah. I could see that for sure. That'd be good.
Yeah, it would be very good. Um, all right, what's up next?
All right, let's talk about the Raptors and the 76ers. So they're reaching their game 7. That's coming up on Sunday, and
Yes.
there's a statistic: 79% of game 7 series goes to the home team,
Ooh,
and yeah, so
that's a lot.
yeah, so
And the
it
Sixers
is
have not played well. Like even though
nah
they've took it to Game 7, it hasn't been like a dominant
right.
3 wins.
So I'm thinking it will end up being the Raptors this game. Um, but that's the statistic, and it's almost an 80% good statistic. But even without that, I think the Raptors at home anyway even if it wasn't a game 7, I think they'd take it. And
Yeah,
with the 76ers, I think they're so inconsistent. I don't think they can do exactly what they did
yeah,
the last game. If they did exactly what they did the last game, then that would put a hurting on the Raptors, and the
yeah.
Raptors would just have to push to do more. But I don't see the 76ers doing that. Um, so I mean, I think the Raptors got it. It's home game. That's going to be a good one to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one to watch. Hopefully, we can watch a couple of these game sevens. But I think the series comes down to this: 76ers are obviously more talented team, but the Raptors have the best player. And
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the series, and it's not even close. Um, so I think it would take three players stepping up for the 76ers. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy
Yep.
Butler's played great this entire series. I mean, he's really showed that he's the veteran on the team and he has taken lead. But, Joel Embiid's going to have to play better, man, especially on the road. He's going to have to step up because I think everyone would agree he's the most talented player on the team. So I think he'll have to step up. And I'll say without Ben Simmons having a nice game, he doesn't necessarily have to have a lot of points. So I'm going to say 15 plus points, maybe a triple double. Joel
Yeah.
Embiid 25 plus, Jimmy Butler 20 plus. Without
Yeah.
those stat lines, I think they don't have a chance because Kawhi is going to put up 30. I mean, Kawhi has played unbelievable this series. He's averaging like 35 plus points this series or something like
Yeah.
that. It's unreal.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Raptors as well, just because, you don't really bet against a home team in a game seven. And especially since the set, like you said, the 76ers consistency has been horrible. Because it's not like the Rockets, where the Rockets have played well like every game of the series against the Warriors. Like they've played pretty well. I mean, they've missed opportunities to win games, but when the
Mm,
76ers don't play well, they get waxed. I mean, by
dude.
30 points. So it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I don't want to bet on that.
Yeah, I don't think nobody does.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's go with Trailblazers and Nuggets.
Okay.
The Nuggets are 2-2 in I think it was game sevens.
Okay.
2-0 at home, all time. And so I mean they're at home this time. I don't know. That's also a Sunday game. Uh, this is hard for me. I mean, I think I like the Trailblazers. I'd like to see them to win and pull it out. I think they'd have a better chance for the next
Against
series than the Nuggets do.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I mean, I can totally see the Nuggets taking this game. But I mean, all their games have been pretty close, and I mean, I
Yeah.
think it could
It's
have
been a
went
good
either way.
series.
The one game though, the Nuggets demolished them. It was
Yeah.
124 to 98. Trailblazers can't let that happen. If they let that
No.
happen again, like they just can't. They gotta lock it down. Like that.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous to happen. Um, but I mean, for them to come back from that and then win the next game 119 to 8, that's real good. That's what they need to stick to. But I just don't know if the Trailblazers can pull it off. I don't even know if
See,
the Nuggets can do anything too.
yeah, it's been a great series, man, and I think the Joker and Dame Lillard have really set themselves apart in the series as superstars. But my opinion on it is this: the reason I'm going to go with the Trailblazers in Game Seven is two things. One thing is I'm not going to bet against Damian Lillard. This he's a very clutch player. I think he's going to show up in Game Seven. I'm predicting he'll have over 30 points in Game Seven. He's going to play well, no question about it. And also, too, I believe the Trailblazers bench is the deepest in the NBA right now. They have Enes Kanter, Rodney Hood coming off the bench. Those are two starters on half NBA teams. So I think they're going to play well. They've been playing well. Rodney Hood dropped like 25 points in the last game the Trailblazers won. So I think the Trailblazers are going to come out on top just because Damian Lillard's the best player on the floor. It's close though. I mean, Nikola Jokic it's close. I mean, Nicole is good, but I think Dame is the best player on the floor. So I'm going to go with that and the deeper bench. I'm going to go with the Trailblazers to win Game Seven.
I'm actually go a different route. I'm gonna go to the Nuggets. I'm gonna see
team.
if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean it's been a great series, man. I hopefully I can watch the game.
All
All
right,
right,
now let's
let's.
talk about a bigger game here. This is
Yes,
the Warriors and Rockets. So number one, Kevin Durant is out, which
it
hurts them a lot because
does.
if the rest of the series, the earlier games, if Kevin Durant wasn't in there, they would have lost every single one, guarantee it. Curry, he isn't doing nothing.
No.
Um, but to win this next game, he's got to step it up. He's got to play like like the championship Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
Peace, Steph
that,
Curry.
like he needs to step it up. But I mean, with Kevin Durant, that hurts him a lot. That takes away 30 to 40 points per game that they need
Yeah.
to step up and make. So they need to
Yeah.
split that with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, some of those other guys. But I mean, I think those two players need to step it up in this game if they want to have a chance. Other than that, I don't even think they would have a chance. This is at Rockets home. I think Rockets are going to take this one and tie the series.
Yeah, I think easily I'm going to take Rockets game 6. Not just because of the Kevin Durant injury, just because I mean the series has been back and forth. Each game has been
Yeah.
decided by 5 or 6 points. Each game could have went either way. It's been a fantastic series, and I'm going to take the Rockets at home. But I will say this: all these analysts out here, some analysts I like too, like Chris Broussard, my favorite NBA analyst, have been talking about how the Warriors are a certain record without Kevin Durant. They have like a winning record over the last 3 years without Kevin Durant. First of all, I don't care about the last 3 years. Steph Curry has been hurt in this series. He's been playing like
Yep.
complete garbage, except for the fourth quarter last night where he played. I mean, he played well. I mean, he didn't like go crazy, but he played well. So I don't want to hear about the 24-9 record without Kevin Durant. The fact is that Kevin Durant's a walking 30 points, and when you take that off a team, I mean, Kevin Durant's the kind of guy. It's like, give me the ball, I'm gonna go get a bucket, and I mean that's gonna be the deal.
Yeah.
So I don't think the fact that just because they have a better record without Kevin Durant means they have a better chance of winning now. So what's made what some people have made it out to be like, and I'm like, no, that's not the
Yeah,
case at all.
that's the dumbest thing, especially in this series when he's getting 35 plus points. Like,
Yeah,
no, they need to
exactly.
get that out of there. This series is all him. Like if this is the finals, he'd be MVP
Oh,
every
easily.
single
Game.
game too.
Game,
Every single
exactly.
game. And
Exactly.
it's no
Yeah.
question about it. Like
And it's
he's
not even
outplaying
close.
everybody. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
next person would be James Harden, except he's on the
Yeah.
on the other end of on the other team. So I
Yeah.
mean, the way Kevin Durant's playing, I mean, he's showing that he was an MVP and he still is an MVP. And wherever he's going, he's going to put up buckets. So
Yeah.
it
Exactly.
sucks
And
that he's hurt, but I mean that they need to step it up. That's a hard loss for them, especially in the
well,
playoffs like this.
I gotta say who needs to step it up. I'll say this: the Rockets, and they're talking about this on First Take. The Rockets window is closing. This is the
Yep,
last chance they
this is it.
have. This is it this year because Chris Paul's getting old. They don't have any money left. They spent all their money, and this is the time where you can beat the defending champs. There's
Yeah,
no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. They have to get it done. Kevin Durant is by far the best player in the series, and now he's out the rest of the series. You have a game at home, and you have one in the Oracle, and you have to get it done because last year you had a game 7 at home, and even though Chris Paul was hurt, and we understand that, y'all choked at home. You choked game 6 and 7 away. You could have beat the defending champs and you didn't. This is the year to do it. The Rockets need to step up.
yeah,
And I think James Harden and Chris Paul need to step up more than Steph Curry and Klay Thompson because Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are 3-time champs. Guess what
yeah.
James Harden and Steph Curry or James Harden and Chris Paul have? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Not
Exactly.
even
Yeah,
a, not even a finals appearance. They need to make it this year. They have no excuses. It's time to step up and beat the Warriors at home, and then an Oracle to go to the Western Conference Finals.
that's true. It's home. They know what it takes. They just need to do it, and they
Yeah,
need to guard them and not let them make threes. I think threes is what's gonna hurt them, and I think threes is also gonna what help them win as long as they're
Close.
making
Yep.
those threes and hit those foul shots. They need to hit every single foul shot that they come into. But
Yep.
I mean, the Rockets, there is no reason the Rockets should not
None.
win this game.
None. Especially this game. If they lose it,
Yeah.
game 6 at home, oh, we'll come on the next pod and we will be ripping the Rockets.
Dude, they'll
Be
be
ripping them.
roasted, man.
Yeah.
Dude, and if they do lose this series, then next year don't see them back up there. Like
No.
they're gonna be down there. They may make it into the
We ain't
playoffs.
talking
I
about
think
them
they're
either.
still playoff teams, but they're not gonna be like this year playoff team.
No.
This year is their best year. They need to win it
Agreed.
if they want to save anything. They need to win it.
They got to win it and win it all. Not just the West. They got to win it all because everyone coming out of the East cannot match up to their star power. They need to win it all. And I'm not necessarily cheering for them, but they got to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I like this series a lot, and hopefully we get a game 7 because man, Sunday is going to be a great game, great day for basketball. 3 game 7s.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see if it happens. See what happens.
All right. What's next on the agenda?
We got NFL, man. We got a little bit of NFL news.
Actually,
we forgot
Lakers.
Lakers. That's
news.
right.
So
right.
everybody knows that Ty Lue didn't make a deal.
Yes.
What I heard is that they offered him a 3-year deal, but they were offering everybody else a 5-year deal. I don't know if that's true, but honestly, I mean, if that happened to me, I'd be mad if they're offering everybody else a longer deal than me. But I don't know if they'll try again either later, because I mean they're still without a coach. So
yeah.
I don't know if he'll reach out, if LeBron will try to reach out to both Ty Lue and the Lakers, see if they can come up with something. I don't know if it was a money issue or if it was the length.
I think it was the length.
I don't know, but I mean 3 years is still good. I mean I would have done something or asked something like maybe 3 years. Well, how about 4 years, or how about 3 years with picking up the 4th and 5th option or something like that? I don't know if that could have happened. There isn't much.
They can make it happen.
They
could have made it happen.
They're the Lakers.
Exactly. And let me talk about that because the Lakers need to be ripped into because they are a joke. They are the laughing stock of the NBA right now. First of all, they got lucky with LeBron James coming, and all the idiotic Laker fans who have been blaming the dysfunction on LeBron James need to shut up. They have not made the playoffs since 2013, which is an absolute joke. And my opinion on it is that LeBron should have never went there. He's wasted the latter part of his career. And if this keeps happening, dude, he needs to demand a trade. I think he needs to demand a trade to, I don't know where exactly. People have said the 76ers. Teams like, I don't know. I don't know where he should go. I don't really care about that. But the fact is that the Lakers are an absolute laughingstock. And I don't really care that they didn't offer Ty Lue the 5 years. Ty Lue is a good coach. I think they should have offered him 5 years, but that's not the point. They have made mistake after mistake after mistake. They drafted Lonzo Ball when they could have drafted Jason Tatum. They traded D'Angelo Russell so that they could draft Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball has been average at best, pretty much a bust. D'Angelo Russell has developed into a star. I mean, they've made so many mistakes. Magic Johnson didn't want any part of it, so he left. He jumped ship. I think it's time for LeBron to jump ship, man. It's reported that they're not going to get any stars, man. They're not going to get Kevin Durant, Kawhi, Kyrie, nobody.
It's just the first year with LeBron. I don't see him moving. I don't know what his fascination is with wanting to build the team up and then go from there. I mean, he should have stuck with Cleveland. I don't understand the deal why he's just wants to move and then build completely. Why not build off a championship team and go from there and then always try to get there each year? This year going to the Lakers, he didn't make the playoffs. I don't understand like what the deal was. Like, yeah, everybody had high hopes at the beginning. But I mean, even if they get some players, like that's what they need to do. They need to go after Anthony Davis. They need Kawhi. They have Kawhi there, Kawhi and LeBron. I think that would
Oh,
be a
that'd be
great
so good.
a great situation. And with
Yep.
they have a bunch of young talent. I think with that, with having LeBron and someone like Kawhi as leaders on their team, I think that can rub off on them and help them a lot, just as players in general. But I mean, I think that's what they need. They need another star. They can't just develop these young guys that quick with just having
No.
LeBron around them. But I mean, they
Yeah.
they need to do something. I don't see LeBron leaving. We'll just have to see what next year does. But they need a star. If they do nothing, if they get other players other than a star, then it's just going to be the same season. They're not
Yeah.
making the playoffs.
So yeah, I think LeBron, like to your point, like wanting to build the team and stuff. I don't think he expected that. I think he expected it was LA. It was the most storied franchise in NBA history, arguably. Maybe the Celtics are, but it's the second most storied franchise in NBA history. It's the Lakers, man. It's the biggest brand in all of sports. He expected people wanted to come and play there, but nobody wanted to
Yeah.
come play there. Nobody wanted to do it. No free agents wanted to sign. Paul George didn't come. Paul George was born in California. I think he was born in LA, and he didn't come, man. And imagine Paul George with LeBron and maybe a Kyrie or something. That would have been a championship contender, but nobody wants to come to LA, man. It's a dysfunctional franchise. It's a laughing stock. It's a reality TV show. Nobody wants to be a part of it. I don't really blame anybody, man. I mean, the Clippers look better than the Lakers at this point. The Clippers are actually in playoffs this year. Might get Kawhi Leonard. I'd rather go to the Clippers.
Yeah. One thing, the mayor of LA said that it's a Clippers town and then not a Lakers town, um, which I agree. I agree, but
That's
I
hilarious.
mean, yeah, they got a lot of stuff to do just as a franchise, and I mean
Yeah.
they need to clean that up. But I
Clean
mean,
house is what they need to do. They need to fire everybody, get some new people in, and beg Kawhi Leonard. Get on your knees and beg Kawhi Leonard to come. I
that
think Kawhi's
yeah,
the
that's
best
what they
bet
need
this
to do.
offseason. Yeah,
It is. I mean, look what he's doing now. 30 plus points in the playoffs. I
and he
mean,
plays off ball, man, and that's perfect for LeBron.
he's
LeBron likes
a
to play with the
leader.
ball. Yeah,
Mm,
he's a leader, but he plays off ball. LeBron likes to play on the ball, and he'll feed it to Kawhi, man. And Kawhi is not to mention one of the best defenders in the league, man.
yeah.
So I think it's got to be Kawhi this summer, and I don't know. I hope they get him, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, Kawhi is the best bet. Like you said, they do need a clean house. I think they need to do it quietly, where they're they looking at a 2 to 3 year plan to where they start moving some of these bad people out and then getting some good people in,
New
but
fresh
not
people.
make a big deal out of it where they're firing everybody. But
Yeah,
maybe look at the worst and then see where they need help at. But I mean, yeah, Kawhi's the best bet. I think without that, I mean, it's going to be tough. But I mean, I don't think nobody's going to match up to having Kawhi and LeBron.
yeah. All right, I think that's it with NBA. I got a little ahead of myself earlier. Now we're on to NFL. We switched it up this week because NBA in season, and we just thought y'all want to hear NBA first. So let's get
Yeah.
into a little bit of NFL news. First up, Kyler Murray signed his rookie deal. Obviously, it's expected that he's going to sign his rookie deal. That's obvious. But it was a pretty big number. It was like 35 million or something like that, which is pretty big for a rookie contract.
Yep.
Um,
Another thing is, for baseball, he was just guaranteed like 4 point something million for signing,
wow.
for a signing bonus, and this signing bonus was for NFL was like 25 million, I believe, 20 something
for
million.
all the for all the morons who are saying, "Oh, baseball players are paid more," you're looking at Bryce Harper and Mike Trout's contracts. You're not looking at
Yeah,
the hundreds and hundreds of other players in the MLB, man.
yeah,
Yeah, that always irritates me. It's like, and people don't realize that these are like 12-year contracts too. They're still getting paid as much as an NFL quarterback on a yearly basis. They're just not
yeah,
getting, the fully guaranteed. I get the fully guaranteed money. The NFL needs to kind of get with the times and start guaranteeing money. But the problem with that is that the sports are different. Like baseball and basketball have way less contact. So guaranteeing those contracts aren't as risky for teams as it is for NFL teams. I mean, you can't guarantee contracts for an NFL lineman. NFL lineman is not going to play through the entire contract, like probably at least 50% of the time. So, it's a lot more risk. So I can understand why NFL doesn't fully guarantee contracts. But with that being said, man, I think Kyler's gonna probably win Offensive Rookie of the Year this year. They got him so many weapons in Arizona. They drafted Andy Isabella and Hakeem Butler, two receivers that we really liked coming out of college.
Yep.
So I think Kyler has a really good chance to play really well this year. And with dynamic quarterbacks like that, they always have a successful first season at least, because it's hard to know their tape. And once the tape is watched, they usually become more predictable. But I think Kyler, with the kind of arm and the accuracy he has, I think he'll have a successful rookie contract.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
Yeah, I say if I had to predict, I think the Cardinals are probably going to go 7-9 this year, which is a big improvement. But I think Kyler is going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure. I think 7-9 is correct, right around there. And of course, the next year they're just going to improve. This year is just like a part of a building season, but I think they need to get out there, play some games, see what they have to play with, improve during that season, and then in the off season take a look at everything and see what they need to prove even better. But everybody who's an NFL fan, I think they can say that, yeah, if they go 7-9 this year, whatever they go this year, they're going to do better the next year, and then next year, yeah, for sure. The way that they're building right now, it's looking good to be a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, you're right, because I think, in my opinion, they had the best draft and out of everybody. They drafted two receivers that were fantastic. They drafted a corner that has potential to be the best corner in the draft class, and they drafted the quarterback, like we've talked about before. Whoever gets the quarterback in the draft wins the draft, because quarterback is that valuable. And if Kyler Murray ends up being a decent quarterback, which is not that hard to do. I mean, even if he's decent, the Cardinals will improve drastically, because they haven't had a decent quarterback since Kurt Warner. So we'll see.
All right, what's next on the NFL?
All right. So Doug Baldwin and Cam Chancellor both failed physicals for Seattle and are getting released, which I think is crazy, because, I mean, you just think back. In 2013, Seattle goes to the Super Bowl against the Broncos. They beat their Broncos. They kind of demolished the Broncos, which made me sad as a Peyton fan. But anyways, they win the Super Bowl in 2013, and they're a handoff away from winning a second Super Bowl in 2014. And now, all of a sudden, all those key players on that team are gone from Seattle. Yeah. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch, Doug Baldwin, all gone except Russell Wilson. And it's crazy. I think Seattle's doing the right thing, though. Believe it or not, unfortunately, I wish they could have gotten some kind of value out of Doug Baldwin and Cam. But it's at this point, I understand why they can't, because of the fact that they're old, they're hurt. But if you look at it, man, I think it's right to get young, because clearly the old guys weren't working out anymore. They're getting young, they're accumulating draft capital, and they're trying to rebuild, which I think is right to do. But they also did the right thing by signing Russell Wilson to a contract, because Russell Wilson is a top 5 to 8 quarterback in the league every single season. So the fact that they have him under contract now will give them a chance at a playoff run every single year. So I think this future's actually bright in Seattle.
Yeah, that's good. You have a good point there with getting all this young talent. I would disagree just a little bit. Getting rid of all the older players, I still think they should have kept or try to keep some of them, just because, their experience, they know what it takes to get to the playoffs, and they can help these young guys out. Even if it's just for 2 years minimum, that would have been great. But yeah, I like the way that they are going, the young team. But I don't want to see this happen, every 5 years. I don't want to see him go to the
Yeah,
Super Bowl or go deep in the playoffs, and then everybody
completely
else gets
rebuild.
traded, wants to go somewhere else because they got a bigger deal. I mean, basically, there's only one team that does it right, and I hate to say it,
Patriots,
but it's the Patriots. No other team compares to them the
not
way
even
that they
close.
manage way they manage their team.
Yep,
Nobody else does because like even if you looked at the 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl, dude, they lost everybody because everybody wanted to make money.
absolutely.
They went somewhere else, and I mean they
Yep.
just went completely downhill after that. And that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why? Like, yeah, you want to get paid, but are you going to go get paid and then go 5-11 or something like that? Like that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Well,
and then they express their frustrations, and it's like, well, you went to a crap
it's
team.
your own.
What
It's
do
your
you
own fault.
expect? Yeah, and then you took most of their money. So how you expect to get any talent?
Yeah,
But I,
very
I do
good point.
think the Seahawks are on the right track, though. I think with Russell Wilson, yeah, you're right with him being a top QB in the league. I'd have him on my team any day. But I mean, with him on there, I think he can rub off on some of these other guys, even at other positions too. Wide receiver, running back, he's on that offensive side, so he knows what it takes. And I mean, I think he can rub off on these young guys. But yeah, I think that's accurate. I think they're doing good. I'd like to see them in the playoffs continuously in the next 2+ years. 2+ years. Next year would be great, but I don't know if they'd get that far in the playoffs. But year two on, they need to make the playoffs every year.
Yeah. I think your point about the Patriots is spot on. I think that was an extremely good point, just for the fact that you're absolutely right. All these teams, and it's about to happen to the Los Angeles Rams. All these teams accumulate all these great players, and then all of a sudden they have success, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants money, everybody wants to get paid, so you have everybody leaving, you have everybody going to these different places. But the way the Patriots build, they build a selfless franchise. They build a selfless franchise where nobody wants to
Mm-hmm.
start them, nobody wants to get paid. I mean, obviously people want to get paid, but you know what I'm saying, not to the extent to which some of these players want to get paid. So that enables them to build all around the players, not just a couple positions. That
Yeah.
enables them to build the entire team rather than just a few certain positions. So that has made them, been able to win 6 Super Bowls. So I think that point's a really good point. And we'll see what happens with Seattle. I think I don't know if they'll make the playoffs next year. There's a lot of change in the franchise. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs because their division's getting pretty tough as well. But like you said, a couple years down the line, I expect them to be in the playoffs every year just because they have Russell Wilson, which is a top,
Yeah.
8 quarterback in the league.
See, they're similar to the Cardinals, just in this way, is that they're getting these young talent.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean, it's only going up for both teams.
for
So
both
I
teams.
mean,
Yep.
I think that's good for both of them. Seahawks, I like them just because they do know what it takes, and they still have Russell Wilson, and it's hard for some of these young NFL teams to have a quarterback like that, or get lucky with a quarterback like that. And now he has a Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl experience, playoff experience. So
Yep.
I mean, Seahawks are a good team. I mean, in the next few years, I mean they're going to be top. They're going to be up there.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. If there is a team that falls off in the NFC West, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's the Rams, just because I think the way they're built, they're not built for the future, man. They're built for the present. They're built to win
Hmm.
now, and that doesn't last long at all, like we already
Yeah.
discussed. So, yeah, I think you're right about that. Next topic. Let's see what else we got. All right, so this is interesting. It's looking more and more like Tyreek Hill is out in Kansas City. It's looking like he's done. So I think it needs to be discussed. With Tyreek Hill, if he's out, which it looks like he is, do you think Patrick Mahomes will regress as a quarterback?
So I want to say no and yes. last year he had a best season any quarterback can have in their entire career. I don't
Absolutely.
think he will do that again coming
Because it's
up,
just so hard to
anytime
match.
soon. Yeah, I mean, I think he got lucky with that, but I think he's still that good of a player. So I
Okay.
still think he's going to have, 30 plus touchdowns a season and hopefully close to, under 10 interceptions per season. I don't think he'll match what he had this year, but I mean, I see in that way, I think he'll regress. But just because Tyreek Hill, I don't think he'll regress. I mean,
Okay.
they know what it takes this year. So I mean, I think they'll just kind of build around what they know from last year and how they played, and then just improve. I mean, I don't think they'll regress. I don't think Patrick Mahomes will regress, but I don't think he'll do as good as those touchdown passes that he did last year. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point. Because I pretty much agree with you on what you said. Just because I think it's hard to match 50 touchdowns. In fact,
Yeah,
it's never been done ever. No one's done 250 touchdown. I mean, there's only been three in NFL history. There's been Tom Brady's 50. There's been Pat Mahomes 50, and then Peyton Manning's 55.
yeah.
So,
And
no,
especially doing it back to back
exactly.
seasons,
It
no
won't
way.
happen. No, it won't
Like he
happen.
could do it, 10 years down the road, yeah, but
Yeah.
no, right now, no.
I will say this though, I think he will regress, and not because he obviously has the talent, but the thing is, man, no one is dynamic as Tyreek Hill. No one is as dynamic as Tyreek Hill with the speed, the way he can get open downfield. I mean, there's no one with a better release than Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's always open. So I think missing a weapon like that, it's definitely going to hurt his passes downfield. Although he can still make the passes downfield, it's not like he can't make the beautiful on the runs, throwing across his body 60-yard passes downfield. Like he can still do that. But the problem is someone has to be there to catch those passes. And right now, there's no one there to catch those passes besides Tyreek, which it looks like he's not going to be there for either they're going to release him or suspension or whatever. It leaves Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce, and I don't know if I really believe in those guys. I mean, obviously Travis Kelce's the best tight end in the
Yeah,
game, but I don't. He can't get open downfield like Tyreek Hill can. I mean, he doesn't have the speed, obviously, that Tyreek Hill has. So I think he will regress. But like you said, it's a natural regression. I mean, you just put up like the greatest season by a first year starting quarterback of all time, not even
yeah,
close. And I mean, it's natural regression just because he did so well last year. But to your point, I think, which is your ultimate point, as a team, I think they'll still be in the playoffs. There's no
yeah,
doubt about that.
yeah. I think Tyreek Hill. I think that does hurt him a little bit, but I
Yeah.
think they need to focus more on getting Sammy Watkins open, getting him more touches on the football, and same thing with Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce, like you said, top tight end in the league, still make him that top tight end in the league from years to
Yep.
come. Keep using them, but also try to get Sammy Watkins in there. See if you can get the other wide receivers in there. They just can't have one wide receiver. They
No.
gotta have multiple. So I mean, that's something I think they need to work on. Is his targets and how to spread that out instead of keeping it to one guy, but changing up the plays and doing other stuff.
I agree with you there. Um, All right, so let's talk about this just a little bit. I thought this was an interesting topic because, well, I just think it's interesting. So Landon Collins was asked about Odell, I guess, and he said that the Giants always viewed Odell as a problem. So I have a question. Do you think who do you think's fault was it? Was it Odell's fault that the Giants broke up with them, or was it the Giants' fault?
I
What do you
think it's
think?
Odell's. I think it's
Uh,
Odell's completely, but it makes no sense. It makes some sense, but it's kind of dumb. I think it was his fault, but I think he was just tired of losing, and then
yeah,
he seen the potential at the Browns, and he just made that decision. Uh, but I mean, I think it was his fault. They got Saquon Barkley. I think John thought that would have saved him, especially how well they did with him. But I mean, they just can't do nothing else, and it's kind of ridiculous though how they did have Saquon Barkley and Odell
They
Beckham
still,
Jr. Give that to any other team, they would have
oh
done way better,
gosh,
way
yeah.
better. Like it's ridiculous. Like, and that's what
Patrick,
I would
Patrick
look at if
Mahomes with
I was
those
in their
guys.
franchise. Dude, imagine anybody, dude. I mean,
Oh,
that's just ridiculous to me, though. Like,
yeah,
just the way that team is built right now, it's horrible. I wouldn't want to be in the franchise if they called my name on draft day and it was the Giants pick. I would be pissed. But I mean, like that's just ridiculous how they have because, like I said, take that pair, Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr., put them on any other team with like zero talent, they're doing
yeah,
better. Like that,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. But I think your question, I think it was Odell's fault. If he wanted to stay, he could have, but I just think he just got to the point where he didn't, and he didn't care.
yeah. So I think I'll disagree with you on this one because for this simple fact, I think I agree with you in this point. I think some players are just not manageable. And that's true. Just some players are just not manageable. But Odell never had off the field issues. And I think the players that are not manageable are the guys with off the field issues because you
Yeah,
can't manage a guy like Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon's going to go smoke weed. I mean, come on, that's a fact. Josh Gordon's going to get high and nobody can stop him. But Odell, all his problems were like in the building, they say, like in the locker room, on the field. How can you not as an organization talk to your franchise player, your best player, the face of the franchise, and say, "Hey, listen," and try to work something out with them. Like as an organization, that's on you, in my opinion. That's on you to work that out with your franchise player. And because he never had off the field issues, I've never heard of him getting in trouble off the field. It's always been on the field stuff. It's like he's a competitor, and I get he's an emotional guy, and sometimes it's hard to work with those personalities. I understand that, and I've never been in that position. But in my opinion, as an organization to win, to be great, you're going to have to work with those personalities. You're going to have to build a locker room that is able to work with a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. and make him work because he's that talented. And the fact that you gave him away for Jabril Peppers and basically interior defensive lineman, come on, give me a break.
yeah,
That's just, I mean, Dexter Lawrence might be a good player, but the 17th overall pick and Jabril Peppers, that's just not cutting it for me. Not for Odell Beckham Jr.
yeah. See,
So
I agree
I
with
think it's
you
the
a little
Giants'
bit on
fault.
that, but I mean, maybe the team of the Giants, like the other players and stuff, could have told him just be like, hey, like, what's your deal? Like, let's stop
Yeah,
having these problems and stuff. I
yeah,
just don't think they were a team. I think they all were just individuals. I think
yeah,
that's part of it too.
yeah. Yeah, you make a good point, and that's why I think it's on the organization. It's on the head football coach and the general manager to get a head football coach that builds a locker room like the Colts are getting right now. Like the Colts' big thing right now is locker room. It's getting the right guys in there to fit the locker room that works together as a team, like you said, and that's how you win games. So that's what the Patriots have. That's
It's
what
true.
the Spurs have. That's what these great franchises have that win multiple championships. They focus on the team aspect and like you said, not on the individuals. It has to be a team effort to win football games. And I think Odell is going to be successful because he's a great player. And I also believe it's the Giants' fault that he's not a Giant anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. All right. We've comprised a little list for you guys. We probably should have did this topic after the Chiefs topic, but a lot of lists have been floating around about the top 5 offenses and all this, and a lot of the lists are complete crap. So me and Austin have made a top 5 offensive list for you guys, and our list is the right list, no question about it. So we're gonna give you all our list today.
All right, I'm gonna go with mine first. So I've got the Saints. I think a lot of people can say the Saints number one. Um, Second, I've got the Chiefs. I think out of all the lists, both one of those is one or two. I think both of those should be one and two. Then I've got the Rams at three, and then those are easy top 3 for me. And then the next one, the fourth one, I'm gonna go with the Steelers, and
Ooh,
then the
I
fifth
like
one,
that.
I got the Patriots.
All right, so my list's a little different than yours, and it might blow your socks off a little bit. And I hope I get a lot of hate in the comments for this list. Let's just say that.
Hey,
So
yeah.
no,
I want everybody who watches this, if they get at this point, post your list in the comments. I wanna see
please,
what everybody else thinks.
please. All right. I agree with you on number one. Saints. Saints are no question the best
Okay.
offense in the league. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees is not a question about it. Number two, and I get you're going to call me biased, but the Colts. The Colts will be the second
Dude,
best offense in the league
I
this year.
knew that was gonna
The,
happen, bro.
the Colts. Listen, man, Andrew Luck is the man, dude. If Andrew Luck starts stepping up in clutch moments, we will get a championship. The Colts will be the second best offense in the league. I can't
Dude,
believe you left this
hey,
team off the list. Listen to this. I can't believe you left this team off the
don't
list.
don't
The
tell us.
Cleveland Browns. Baker
Dude,
Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Definitely number 3 on my list. They will get it done. They're going to make the playoffs this year. They're going to win the division, and they're going to be in the top 5 offense in the NFL. Number 4, Los Angeles Rams. I'm just picking the Rams because they have Cooper Kupp coming back. They're not losing anybody. They've lost nobody on offense. They're not going to regress offensively. Sean McVay had a bad Super Bowl. He's still a great coach though, and they'll still have a great offense. Number 5, I went Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is obviously Patrick Mahomes. I think he'll be great. I kind of was on the fence with this one. I was like Chargers, Chiefs, Steelers, Packers, Eagles. A lot of those teams were in the debate. I'll end up going Chiefs though, just because if Tyreek Hill's there, definitely Chiefs, no question about it. But I took the Tyreek Hill thing into consideration. I was like, well, I don't know, Tyreek Hill not there, but we'll see. All right, man. What do you think about my list?
okay. So you're like all these other people, which are making no sense. Yeah, the
Oh,
Browns are going to be good. They're going to take the division, but you haven't seen them play. How are they? How are they right there? Yeah, I understand. Top 8, yeah, for sure. But you still haven't seen them play. It could be horrible, but everybody in their right mind knows it's not going to be horrible. But
exactly.
I just don't understand. I just don't
It's a
understand being
prediction.
right there on that list. It is a
Eh,
prediction.
It's a
Someone
prediction.
else's prediction. He's got top 10. This is Chris Wesley. He had Saints like you. Okay. He also had the Colts like you. Okay. I can kind of agree with that. Then he's got the Eagles at third. I'm not so sure about that. If it was a few years ago, yeah. This year, no. Then he's got the Falcons. Okay, Julio Jones can't get in red zone TD in his life, so I don't want to hear that. Get out of here. Okay. And then they got Rams at 5th, Chiefs at 6th. Then here comes the Browns. Okay. All right. Then he's got the Chargers at 9. Yeah, Chargers are up there. And then he's got the Steelers at 9. Chargers at 8, Steelers at 9, and then he's got the Packers at 10. Okay,
I like the
first of all,
list.
who's missing from this list? I hate to mention them every single time, but who's
Patriots.
missing from this list?
Patriots.
Exactly, top 10 Super Bowl contender every single year, and he don't even have him in the top 10. Okay, so basically he's never watched football in his entire life if he doesn't think the Patriots are in the top 10 every single year since like 2001. Like, this is
Oh my
ridiculous.
gosh. Well, dude, okay. Well, listen, in this guy's defense, the Patriots are an all around football team. They don't just play offense, they play good defense.
But what? But
and
I mean, tell me about it. They're not scoring 6 points a game.
well, yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Patriots definitely are in the conversation. The Packers are gonna have to kind of prove it like the Browns. I think the Steelers are gonna have to prove it like the Browns. But yeah, you make a good point. I think the Patriots are right there. Like it's definitely. I think they should make the top 10 at the very least.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I got them on there, but I mean, I can see like those other teams like Falcons. I can see them up there. Chargers. I can see them.
Falcons
You
I'd
know,
have a lot lower, just because.
I
I mean,
probably
it's
have
like
the
Julio and
Chargers above
nothing.
the Falcons. Yeah, yeah. I
Don't give
think
me
I have.
Mohamed Sanu. If you comment Mohamed, if a Falcons fan right now comments Mohamed Sanu as a legitimate weapon, give me a break. Mohamed Sanu is a number 3 receiver at best. Come on, stop with the comments. Quit that.
All right, man. All right. What's
All right.
next? What's next?
We're gonna talk a little UFC. I just want to predict some of these fights. I'm a huge UFC fan. I know nobody cares about the UFC on this podcast yet, but we will get some hardcore UFC fans in here. A couple things I want to mention before we get into UFC, though. One thing I'm thinking about doing for the podcast is cutting out little pieces from the podcast and posting it as videos. Y'all let me know if y'all want to see that. So, for example, for like our discussion on top 5 offenses, that will still be on our main podcast, but I want to put that as a separate video so y'all can just watch that and critique our offenses. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that.
Yep.
Also, we might have a guest on the podcast coming up after Sunday. We're definitely going to do a podcast either Sunday night or Monday morning after the games. No question about it. And we're thinking about having a guest to talk NBA. That podcast is going to be nothing but NBA, though. It's going to be just NBA because, 3 potential game sevens. That's definitely worthy of its own podcast. All right. Let me see. Let me get these fights pulled up. So UFC 237 is this weekend. Main event, Rose Namajunas is defending her strawweight title versus Jessica Andre. And then we have in the co-main, we got Jared Cannonier, the Killer Gorilla, versus Anderson Silva. And then Jose Aldo versus Alexander Volkanovski. All right, so we'll start with Jose Aldo versus Alexander Volkanovski. I'm gonna go Jose Aldo by unanimous decision in this one.
I'm gonna go him as well. Except I'm gonna take. I like to take the rounds. I'm gonna go round 3 TKO.
Oh, okay, you're gonna go TKO. All right.
I like seeing it done in the rounds. I do like to see it go all the way, but I do like to see those knockouts and stuff like that inside the rounds.
Yeah, I do too. All right, Jared Cannonier versus Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva is obviously getting pretty old, and I like Jared Cannonier. I've not seen him fight too many times. I saw him in his last fight. He looked pretty good. I'm gonna go Jared Cannonier by TKO in the second.
I'm gonna go Anderson Silva. I'm gonna go probably third round again TKO. I think just with him, I mean he can take punches. I mean he can take a beating. So I mean that's one thing. That's one thing that made my decision on that one. But I think it'll be him for sure.
You make a good point. Yeah, Anderson Silva does have a good chin. Not to mention he's the greatest of all time and avoiding getting hit. So
Yeah.
I think you make a good point. I just think he's getting old. I think Jared Cannonier has some pretty good power. So he looks like a light heavyweight man. I swear he does. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be a good fight. It's not the greatest card, but Uncle Dana, what can you do? Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andre. I'm gonna go Rose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say TKO in the first round. TKO. First round TKO. Rose Namajunas.
I think I'm gonna go third again. I like the third round this time. I think I'm gonna go third TKO. I don't think it'll get to like a unanimous decision. I think she'll just keep pounding.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Rose for sure. I like her a lot.
It's shocking, man. She's an underdog in this fight, and I think it's just crazy. She's been an underdog in her title fights against Joanna. Yeah, I think she'll win the fight though for sure. One thing I do want to mention real quick, I forgot to mention this with the Jose Aldo thing. UFC posted a picture of Jose Aldo and the fight's in Brazil, I'm pretty sure, and it definitely is. They posted a picture of him in Brazil, and it said the caption was like "back at home" or something. And Conor McGregor responded and said he's back on the sauce.
Oh
apparently,
my
apparently,
gosh, man.
apparently Jose looked jacked, and Connor thought he was back on the sauce. So,
That is so funny, man. That cracks me up that he just does that shit.
dude, and
That's funny.
Connor's got to shut up and fight though, man. He's got to get off Twitter and get a fight. Donald Cerrone, man, this summer I want to see it. Donald Cerrone, July. But yeah, Connor's hilarious. All right, guys, that's all we got. That's it, Austin.
All right, well, we'll see you next
We're
time.
off.
Comment if y'all want us to discuss anything or your opinions. Let us know.
Yep. What did we miss? Let us know. Later, guys.
Later, man.